What if I told you? The best liars aren't nervous, aren't dramatic, and don't look like liars at all. In fact, the most dangerous liars sound calm, look confident, and often believe their own lies. You might think serial liars are rare. They're not. You work with them. You message them. Some of you have loved one. And here's the unsettling part. Serial liars don't think the way normal people do. They don't lie because they panic. They lie because it works. So today, we're breaking down how serial liars think, why they lie even when there's no reason, and how they justify it without guilt. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever caught someone lying, and instead of apologizing, they calmly explained why you misunderstood? That's not an accident. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. A serial liar isn't someone who lies occasionally. Everyone lies sometimes. To avoid conflict, to protect feelings, to escape consequences. That's normal. A serial liar, however, lies habitually, even when the truth would be easier. They lie about small details, past events, their intentions, their emotions, their identity. Sometimes, they lie for no clear benefit at all. Psychology calls this pathological lying. But labels don't matter as much as the mindset, because serial liars don't see lying as immoral. They see it as a tool, a shortcut, a strategy. To them, truth is flexible, reality is negotiable. And the most important thing to understand is this. They are not lying to you. They are lying for themselves. Not to hurt you, not to destroy you, but to protect an image, maintain control, or avoid internal discomfort. And this is where it gets dangerous, because once lying becomes a default response, it stops feeling like lying at all. It feels like survival. But how does that mindset form? That's where their psychology really begins. Most serial liars don't wake up one day and decide to deceive everyone. They learn it early, usually in one of three environments. 1. Punishment-based childhoods, where telling the truth led to harsh punishment, shaming, emotional withdrawal. The child learns, truth is dangerous. Lies keep me safe. 2. Inconsistent authority, where rules constantly changed. Yesterday's truth was today's mistake. So the child adapts. I'll say whatever works in this moment. 3. Emotional neglect, where honesty didn't bring connection. No matter what they said, no one listened. So they learned. Reality doesn't matter. Performance does. Over time, lying stops being a conscious choice. It becomes automatic. And here's the key shift. Most people feel anxiety before lying. Serial liars feel anxiety before telling the truth. Truth feels risky. Truth feels vulnerable. Lies feel controlled. But this creates a problem, because once lying becomes habitual, the liar must constantly manage reality, and that pressure changes how their brain works. Which brings us to the most misunderstood trait of serial liars. You might assume serial liars feel deep guilt. They don't. At least, not the kind you expect. Let's talk about that next. Serial liars aren't emotionless psychopaths. That's a myth. They feel emotions, just not accountability-based guilt. Instead of thinking, I hurt someone, I did something wrong, they think, if they knew the whole story, they'd understand. This is called moral rationalization. They justify lies by telling themselves, I was protecting them. They would have overreacted. Everyone lies anyway. The truth would have caused more damage. So the lie becomes necessary in their mind. And once a lie feels justified, it doesn't trigger guilt. It triggers relief. Relief that conflict was avoided, image was preserved, control was maintained. That relief reinforces the behavior. And now lying isn't stressful. Being questioned is, which leads to something chilling. Have you noticed something strange? When a serial liar is confronted, they're often unusually calm, sometimes even amused. That's because confrontation activates their performance mode. Instead of panicking, their brain switches to, how do I manage this narrative? They don't immediately deny. They deflect, reframe, minimize, confuse. They might say, that's not what I meant. You're taking it the wrong way. That never happened the way you remember. This isn't accidental. It's called cognitive agility. They're skilled at rewriting timelines, mixing truth with lies, shifting blame subtly. And here's the disturbing part. They're watching your reaction, not their own behavior. They study your tone, your hesitation, your doubt. If you hesitate, they push. If you soften, they advance. Because to a serial liar, truth is less important than who controls the emotional frame. But there's a deeper reason they stay calm. One that explains why serial liars often believe their own lies. What if I told you serial liars aren't always aware they're lying? Let's go there. The human brain hates inconsistency. When actions don't match identity, the brain doesn't change behavior first. It changes memory. Serial liars repeat lies so often that the brain begins to store the lie as truth. This is called source confusion. They forget what actually happened, what they told whom, what was real versus constructed. So when confronted, they're not always lying consciously. They're defending a version of reality their brain now accepts. That's why arguing facts with a serial liar feels pointless. Because to them, this is what happened. This makes them incredibly convincing, not because they're evil, but because their brain has adapted to protect identity over accuracy. And once someone lies to themselves successfully, lying to others becomes effortless. But this comes at a cost. Serial liars often live with a strange emotional emptiness. Not sadness, not depression, but disconnection. Because when you constantly perform, you're never fully seen. Even when people love them, they think they love the version of me I showed. This creates chronic loneliness, fear of exposure, emotional distance. So ironically, the behavior meant to protect them becomes the reason they feel alone. Many serial liars aren't chasing power. They're chasing relief from that emptiness, which explains why they often start new relationships quickly, reinvent themselves, disappear when questioned, because starting fresh is easier than being honest. But here's where things turn dark. Lies don't stay small. They grow. And there's a psychological reason for that. Every successful lie lowers the emotional cost of the next one. So serial liars escalate. Small lies, bigger lies. Omissions, fabrications. Image management, identity construction. Eventually, they're not just lying about events. They're lying about who they are. And the scariest part? They don't feel like they're becoming dishonest. They feel like they're becoming efficient. Until reality collapses. Because lies require maintenance. And no one can control every variable forever. Which leads to the final truth. Serial liars aren't exposed because others become smarter. They're exposed because lies disconnect them from reality. Details slip. Timelines blur. Emotional reactions don't match situations. And eventually, people feel something is off. Not logically, emotionally. Because authenticity has a frequency. And deception, no matter how polished, creates noise. The tragedy is this. Many serial liars don't collapse because they're caught. They collapse because they're exhausted. From performing, from managing, from pretending. And some, if they're lucky, stop. Others double down. And that choice defines the rest of their life. So if you've ever wondered why someone lies when the truth is obvious, why they stay calm when confronted, why explanations feel circular, now you know. It's not random. It's psychological. And the most important lesson is this. Understanding serial liars isn't about judging them. It's about protecting yourself. Because the moment you stop engaging with their narrative, their power disappears. If this video made you rethink someone you know, or yourself, that awareness alone is powerful. And in the next video, we'll break down how to spot a serial liar early, before emotional damage happens. Because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it.